this challenge can be really good if you are creative, if you like to make art, but you are afraid that your work is not good enough, or you don't share the process of getting there because it is messy, because it's not perfect, it's not finished. But getting out of that mindset of like, it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be a certain level of perfection. And what even is perfection? What even is perfect? Welcome to Just Being Me. This is your sanctuary for all things real, magical, and unapologetically you. Here, we weave together the threads of balanced living, self love, and creative expression. Because stepping into who you're meant to be is equal parts exhilarating and messy, and it's all part of the plot. I am your host, Emma Garter, and I'm a self expression coach and creatrix. Each week, we'll dive into heart centered conversations, playful explorations, and a little bit of everyday enchantment. Whether you're figuring out life's big questions, manifesting your dream reality, or simply learning to know, trust, and love yourself. This is your space to create a life that feels so desirable that you would never want to escape it. So, let's skip the small talk and dive into the deep end. Your story starts here, and the pen is in your hand. Now, let's get into the episode. We are back with another episode, and oh my god, I have missed this so fucking much. I have had now a well needed break, and I'm ready. I'm ready to dive into the most incredible topics and all the knowledge that I've learned and everything that I have realized about myself, about my path, about what my content is really going to be about. Because I feel like as you go on this journey of healing and coming more and more back to who you truly are, you get more and more clear on what you're actually meant to help others with. So, I haven't been posting a podcast episode for I last one is like late October. It's now early January 2025. Happy New Year. I am in a completely different backdrop. I have moved in with my boyfriend, and I have created here my little nook with my plant from the botanical garden in Oslo. We got some incense. I don't know if you can see it. And I got a beautiful little backdrop with some fairy lights. And I've just like created my own little nook. Like, I love this spot in the house. And I thought, like, why not create it into my little podcast studio until I get my real full blown podcast studio? I want to make it as inviting and as cozy and as comfortable as possible. So, if you don't know me, I've just gone on a rant about my life and what has happened, but I am Emma. I live in Norway, and I am all about self expression. I am all about truly coming back to who you are at your core and living from the inside out, living in integrity with who you are and being your full blown ass expression. Like, really, really honor your sacredness and be so in tuned with who you are, and even like with your cycle, living in sync with nature, just like being so connected to both yourself and everything around you. So today I just want to give you a little update, and I'm also sharing a very, very exciting project that I have going on this year. It's a big one, and it has been something that I have felt like I needed for myself. And I think a lot of other people do as well. And I'm just going to start by explaining a little bit about what has been happening in my life. Like I said, I lived with my mom for over a year, did a lot of inner child healing, and I'm going to make an episode about what it's like living with your parents after you've moved out and then moving back in again when you're a little older, and you're used to the freedom and you're used to just doing whatever you want, and then you're suddenly like that little child again, which I'm gonna make a podcast episode about. Also, if you guys have any ideas about what you want to hear from me, let me know. I'm here. I want to give to you what you actually need in this very moment, because this space on the internet is just about us just having a conversation, us just like being like, okay, hey, what's up? Sharing compassion, sharing excitement about projects that we're doing, sharing just like the joy of being alive and being our full fledged selves. So I moved in with my boyfriend. It happened pretty quickly. We started dating in August, and I kind of halfway moved in like 2 months later. And then now I'm like fully living here. And it's been so much fun. And a lot of shadow work has been happening. He is incredible. And he is also has studied psychology, so he loves to look at things, and it's hard to like, push things under the rug with him, which I love because I'm a Scorpio, and I even though it's been really hard to look at that shit, it has been so like my soul wants it. My soul like yearns to go deep and to figure out what is actually underlaying. Why is my life and why turning out this way, and why am I reacting in the ways that I'm reacting that is making me miserable, that is making me not feel good about myself or my connections with other people. So it's been a journey of really learning to not react on my triggers. And I even told him like, "Thank you for triggering me. I love that you trigger me because that's making me grow." And I know it's not for everyone, and I know like for some people it will make them more insecure if it's constantly like we're doing the work. Not insecure, but like not feel safe with other person, but I truly just feel like we are getting closer and closer just because I am looking at more and more stuff, and I get to be more and more myself around him, and just in life in general. It's helping me heal in so many areas of my life. I have also taken a break from Instagram. I'm going to talk a little bit about that too in another episode, about what has come up for me during that time, all the realizations. I've gone through like major realization club these few past few months, and I have just gone within over the Christmas break. I have taken a full on break. I needed a break because I've been going since I was a kid. And I just needed to just be like, okay, I'm not doing anything. I was looking at like how to plan for this next year and looking at like what do I kind of want to do, but I didn't do anything. I was just reflecting on how I felt, how that the past year was. And if you are someone like me who has been told that doing things is how you become successful, I highly, highly encourage you and invite you to take a break. It's January. I know everyone's like, let's fucking go. It's January. Like, we need to do the shit right now. But we don't have to. It's still winter. So think about this different seasons. Like, bears are in, what's it called? Hibernating. Bears are hibernating right now. And this is your permission slip to slow down, to really listen to what your body needs and take a break. Do only the things that are absolutely necessary. And then start maybe in February again. Start later and actually give yourself the space to rest and to take care of yourself and really go within and listen, like, what is actually holding you back from becoming the person that you know you're meant to be. And I have also started a course again. So I did or I bought the Manifestation Babe Academy by Catherine Sakina. Manifestation Babe, if you guys know her. If you don't, she is incredible. I bought that course in 2022. And the thing about buying a course when you're just beginning your healing journey, it can be very hard because you're starting to look at things that you've never looked at before. You're starting to dig into the trenches and the depths of why you are the way you are, and that shit can be really hard. So I had a little barrier up, and I was also going through major like things. Uh, I had gone through trauma and wasn't like dealing with that, and yeah, just so many things. And I felt like I wasn't fully 100% committed. I did the thing, I did the whole program, and I'm very proud of myself that I did. It was like a light that I could like hold on to and work on because I'm like, I know this is gonna be good for me. I know this is gonna transform my life. But the decision about doing this course again has completely shifted my perspective on everything. I'm looking and I'm seeing this course with completely new eyes. And I've been like moving through it. I've done one module in one day. I am working so fast through it, but I'm absorbing the content like crazy. And I want to start talking a lot more about manifestation here with you guys because I think it is very misunderstood, and I think that manifestation has been has come to a point where it's like, oh, you're supposed to just sit back and relax and everything will come to you. But it's not like that. And you got to do the hard shit. You got to dig. You got to go within. And this course has helped me a lot with doing that. And not even that, just like starting the course, everything has been starting to come up, and also creating the stillness, creating the space, creating the reflection phase where you actually go and look at things. And I felt more inspired than ever before. Like my ideas with my podcast episodes, for example, I probably have had like 5, 6 in the past week. Just like popping up because I've created so much space for it to actually come in. So that has been the most major things. I've also hosted my own course, which has been a very like interesting experience. I have I've loved it. I've loved doing it in that way, but I've also learned so much about what I want to do differently next time. So there will be another course happening this year, and I am going to change the whole thing. I have learned a lot about what I want to do and what don't want to do, and I'm ready to just create the most expansive course and stretch it out too, because this course was 6 weeks, and I want to do like 12 or 14 weeks because I don't think you can do the amount of work that I have put into this program in just 6 weeks. I don't think that's possible. And I want to do yeah, it's gonna be I'm just not gonna talk too much about it now because it's still in the works and I'm still gonna work on it, but it's happening later this year. So another thing, the one thing that I want to talk about today, the major portion of this, is a challenge that I am hosting all of this year. So it is called The Art of Creative Expression. a 11-month creative journey through 11 different mediums. That's the word. This challenge has just like popped into my head. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I have felt really disconnected from the creativity aspect of my life. I know I've like done my course and done a lot of things with my business, like building my website and all these things, but I have missed just painting. I have missed creating clothes and redesigning. If you don't know a lot about me, I used to study fashion design, and I have probably made and sewed two things since I dropped out of college 3 years ago now, almost 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Two things in 2.5 years. And I used to love that shit. I used to like sew all the time and I used to be so enamored in it. And I my intention for this course is to just inspire us to be more creative, inspire us to use our creative expression in ways that you might never have done before, even. Like try new things. And I'm going to talk about like my goals with the challenge, but it's a challenge that I've set for myself and I really really hope that you want to join too. It is going to be, like I said, we're going to focus on one medium each month, and I'm doing an 11 month challenge, not a 12-month challenge, because I want to give people a little time to get into the challenge and know what to do and all these things, and giving you a little space. Like I said, you don't have to rush into anything. It's January. Slow down. It's okay. We're starting in February. So what I will do is that I will pick a medium each month, and you can either follow that, you can either do the same medium that I do, or you can choose your own. It's your own creative process, it's your own creative expression, and I want you to feel so lit up by the thing that you're doing. You could also even like do things that you loved doing as a kid. Like what mediums did you love creating with as a kid? I know for me, like I loved painting and I loved creating like that, and I just don't do that as much anymore. And even like sewing, that is really really true to me and to my heart, and that's I really want to do that to invoke more creativity within myself. But I know it might not be for everyone. So you get to choose whatever medium you want, and you can either create weekly or you can create daily. Like how much you create is up to you. But I invite you to really stick to this process. And if you do it 1 month, that's okay. If you do it all 11 months, that's perfectly fine too. But actually dedicating time and put it into your calendar, create space, block off some time and stick to it, because the more we stick to something, the more we keep our promises to ourselves. And if you really want to do this, like you have to really feel like, oh, this is something that I really want to do. I want to get into my creativity. I want to feel more expressed and more create more joy into my life. Then I invite you to join. But if you feel like, oh, yeah, it would be cool, like, I'm sure I would try like 1 month or something, like, you're not going to be able to stick to it. But creating a plan, and if it's even like just 10 minutes a day or 10 minutes a week, like, it doesn't have to be that extensive. I know life is a lot and sometimes it can get away from us. Also, having compassion for ourselves is really, really important. If you don't create 1 week, that's okay too. But trying to stick to your goals and setting goals for this challenge as well, I think is really important. And we are going to do that all together, because I would love it if you shared your journey with me. I would love it if we were able to create a movement, that we were able to really help other people find their creative spark again. And you don't have to be professional. That's also very important. You don't have to be super good at anything. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that within the goals, but you just have to have a desire to be creative. And you have to start somewhere, you know? So, doing that, and then I have created a community space. So, I have created a Facebook group where we will we will share our journey. We will talk about the process. I will share a lot about my personal experience and what I'm learning, and maybe tips and tricks. I will also share on my TikTok and on my podcast. So stay tuned for that. But on my podcast, I will only do one episode a month, talking about what I learned, and then also explaining the next topic or the next medium. So if you don't want to join the Facebook group, that is totally fine. You will still be able to join in on the challenge. But I really, really invite you, and I really hope that you become a part of this community, because if we're together, if we're cheering each other on, if we're sharing, and if we're gonna even like meet up on Zoom, we're gonna do live connection calls, we're gonna do live I'm gonna do live streams, maybe like painting. I haven't really figured out all the details on that either, but I want to know, like, what do you want? What do you want out of this challenge, and what do you want from this group, and what do you desire, and how do you desire to connect to other people? It can even be like meetups in your city. Like, if there are multiple people from your city, you can meet up and you can have a creative evening. Like, there are so many things that you can do, but it's all about creativity. It's all about coming into your fullest creative expression and doing it in community, feeling supported, feeling like there are a lot of other people out there who are interested in the same thing as you are. So, yes, that is everything that I want to talk about how you can join the challenge. I will leave all the links for my TikTok and for the Facebook group and down below, and you just have to like answer a few questions about um what do you like want to get out of it, what is your intention about joining the challenge and all that for the Facebook group. But I would love to see you there. I would love to have you, and I would love to hold space for you to just let that creativity bloom, you know? So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the 9 goals for the 11 months. Like, what do I desire for us to get out of this? So, the first one is to explore different forms of expression and cultivate curiosity and playfulness. So, like I said, it's not just about doing one thing the whole year and getting really good at that. If you find something that you truly love and you want to stick to that and continue doing that, go ahead. But the main part of this challenge is that you're learning to express yourself in different ways, and you get to evolve, you get to see how you grow through trying on all these different hats and seeing your multidimensional selves within all of these mediums, and being able to play with it, and being able to really just have fun with exploring something new, or maybe exploring something that you've forgotten about. The next thing is about my goal is to document the journey and inspire you to get into your creative juices, let that creativity flow, and actually talk about what is coming up, being really raw and honest. Like, oh shit, I'm really bad at this. And it's bringing up a lot of things about me not being good enough. Like all these things, all these aspects of what creativity can do for you. And also being able to help, or not help, but guide others to express themselves vulnerably, because art is really vulnerable. It is you putting your heart on your sleeve and putting your heart onto the canvas or whatever you're doing. Like you get to create your inner world into the outer world through using your art, which is such a great thing. Like, don't we think? I love it. We also, another goal is that we get to develop new skills and get really good at not being good. And this is one of the things that I think I'm going to not struggle with the most. I'm not going to say that, but this is one thing that scares me a little bit, because I am going to share my art, like the whole process, the messy ass process. And I'm looking forward to it because it's gonna help me get out of my perfectionist mode. It's gonna really help me to not take things as seriously. Because I think a lot of the times with art, and I know for a fact with me in fashion school, it had to be perfect. It had to look absolutely gorgeous because you were getting graded. You were getting a grade on your project, and someone was telling you if it was good enough or it was not good enough. So that is so deeply ingrained in me that, like, if I mess up, it's not good enough and I can't share it and I'm gonna get a bad grade. Literally, that's what's going on in my head, you know? So I think this challenge can be really good if you are creative, if you like to make art, but you are afraid that your work is not good enough, or you don't share the process of getting there because it is messy, because it's not perfect, it's not finished. But getting out of that mindset of like, it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be a certain level of perfection. And what even is perfection? What even is perfect? Who determines what is good art, what is bad art? But it's about the whole journey. It's about the whole, like, putting, like I said, putting your heart on your sleeve, really getting into the nitty gritty. And also, if something comes up for you, if a lot of like past trauma, no, maybe not past trauma, but like limiting beliefs about I'm not good enough, you get to work with that and you get to share your art, even though things might, the fear might block you or want to block you from putting yourself out there and being vulnerable. And that's also why I think the Facebook group is really, really good, because we get to be that vulnerable with everyone around us and feel safe and held in that container. And I'm going to make sure that, like, I'm gonna go in there, patrol if there's any negative comments. And that's also why you gotta answer the questions, and really it's not open for everyone. Like, it's a private group and I need to accept people into the group. And if you have pure intentions, and if you want to cheer each other on, and if you want to be there and support everyone else, this is a safe group for you to do that. And I would love to welcome you in. Like, let's go. Let's fucking go. It's also a way to reconnect you to your authentic voice. And like with the mediums, like it can be anything. It can be singing, it can be dancing, it can be drawing, it can be painting, it can be making clothes, it can be pottery, it can be jewelry making, it can be flower creations, it can be, I'm gonna do like a creating art with nature, like nature elements, things that I find out in nature. Like, you can do literally anything. And it's all about you reconnecting with that truth within you and being able to put that like authentic self onto the outer reality. You will also tune more into your intuition by being creative, by expressing yourself, by letting all the external things go and being so focused on that one thing you're doing. You will start being able to listen to yourself and also being able to ask yourself and tune into yourself, tune into your intuition when you're creating stuff. I got really good at listening to my inner voice when it came to making clothes. And that's also like I'm really good at listening to my inner voice when I'm picking out my own clothes. And it's not about having any of that external validation. It's not about listening to what other people think are good or bad or um pretty, you know? It's about tuning into what do you want to create. And by doing that, you will start tapping more and more into your intuition, which is so cool, right? And I also have talked about this a bit, but it's about consistency. It's about showing up for yourself. It's about really doing the things that you said that you were going to do. So if you have a really busy schedule and if you don't really think that you will have so much time to create art, that's okay. And admit that to yourself. Don't overextend yourself and think like, I just want to create art for an hour each day, but you have a 9 to 5 and then you also are creating a business on the side. But maybe set yourself up for like 10 minutes a day. Maybe bring a sketchbook to the park and sit there for 10 minutes and doodle a little bit. Draw the trees around you, whatever it is. Set yourself up to exceed. No, set yourself up to win, not set yourself up to fail. It's also a great way to celebrate your growth. You're going to grow so much within these next 11 months. It's going to also ripple into all of the other parts of your life. But it's also important to not be like, I need to be the best at drawing and I'm going to get so freaking incredible at drawing. But also enjoying the process, celebrating how you see yourself shift, how more confident you become about the creation part and not just the finished product. And celebrate the art that you create. And I also want to note that yeah, I've talked about this, like creating from expression, not perfection. So expression is messy. You are messy, and that's a good thing, you know? You get to use this as a way to maybe process things. I know when I was sexually violated in 2021, I I created clothes, and that was so powerful because I got to process it. I got to get the things that I felt out into my art. And all art has an energy. So what I like to do is to not maybe hang art on the wall that I've created when I was really depressed or when I was dealing with a lot of anxiety or when I was really down in the dumps. Maybe not hang it on your wall. This is just my preference because it's going to affect you and you're going to every time you look at that thing you're going to think about that time when you felt that feeling, you know, when you were really down. So being able to create art and process things through your art, but then you can put it away. I've saved them. I've saved the photos because for me, it's a really good reminder of like seeing how far I've come, seeing the person that I am today compared to the person that I used to be, and really be proud of that. So being able to show up as your full expression, like all of who you are, and being able to transmute any density or any joy or any lightness like into your art is such a great way of using it as a tool in your own process, in your own healing journey, in your own growth journey. And the last thing that is at least my goal is I want to engage with sustainability. So I want to make sure the most that I can do, like I know we need art supplies and all these things, but I want to try the best that I can to be sustainable and experiment with eco-friendly practices and not just create to dispose, but create something that I want to keep with me, that I maybe want to give away as gifts, not just do it to consume or for consumption. So maybe just buying the things that you really need. Maybe not buy a whole bunch of things that you will never use just because you think, oh, maybe I'll, need that. Being very, yeah, being very particular and being very like honest with yourself with what you're consuming in order to make this 11 months of creativity happen. Okay, we are done with this episode. I really, really, really would love it if you join me in this challenge. I am so excited. Like, I think this is gonna be the most meaningful thing that I've done thus far. And I just cannot wait to see all of you express your fullest creative potential and cheer you on and share the things that I learned on my journey. And I have all my mediums ready. I am so good to go. I will also work on creating events. So if you live in Oslo, I will create events that goes in hand with this challenge. And if you want to be a part of the live streams and if you want to be a part of like the behind the scenes of the challenge, the Facebook group is for you. And if you don't, that's totally fine too. But I hope you join us anyways. And if you share anything on Instagram, if you share on TikTok, I have a hashtag that I would love it if you used, which is called Medium of the Month. And yeah, if you like I said, I have will link everything down below that you need to know, the Facebook group, my TikTok, my Instagram. Thank you so much for listening and watching to this episode. I'm so grateful that you're here with me, and I'm so grateful that you're here on this journey, becoming even more of who you truly came here to be, because you are deserving of living that life that you know you're meant to live. And you are so magnificent, and you have not even reached your potential. And trust me, girl, like, there's so much incredible things to come. And also be grateful for where we are in this very moment, because you are doing so great. You are doing so incredibly amazing. Okay, I will talk to you in the next episode. Follow the podcast to stay up to date with any new episodes coming. We got a bunch of really, really good episodes coming your way. So make sure that you don't miss them. And yeah, I will talk to you in the next episode.